Thank you. Correct. The Architectural Review Board of the Town of Southampton now come to order. Welcome to the January 7th, 2025 meeting, and everyone have a happy new year. Ms. Doyle, the ARB attorney, will you read the legal regulations for our hybrid meeting?
Good morning. The board's meetings continue to be hybrid, which means they're being held both in person at Town Hall and by a video conference. On the Town of Southampton website, there is a Town Clerk's Meetings portal. That is where you can find links to watch the live stream video of each meeting or submit written comments for the public record. You can also find a link to join the Zoom webinar. If anyone is attending via Zoom and you would like to speak, then you will need to alert our moderator by clicking the raise hand icon or type in the chat box. If you are here in person to present, then please come up to the table when the chair calls your application. If anyone in the audience would like to submit comments regarding a particular application, please raise your hand when the chair asks if there are any comments from the public regarding that application. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Doyle.
You're welcome.
Would everyone please rise? And Mr. Wright, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Wright. Mr. Jankowski, the board secretary, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Wright?
Present.
Mrs. Tagliavia? Here. Ms. Keys? Here. Mr. Burke? Here. Myself and Mr. Chairman?
Here.
Mr. Rumpf is absent. We do have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Did the board members that were present review the minutes of the December 17th, 2024 meeting?
Yes.
And were there any errors or omissions?
None.
If none, do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve the December 17th, 2024 meeting. All those in favor? Aye. Thank you very much. Opposed? None. Any old business to come before the board before we start with the published agenda? None? Then we'll start with the agenda. The first on the agenda is a site plan review. It's at 292 West Montauk Highway, Hampton Bays. It's Aria T. Is the applicant present?
Yes.
Yes, would you come up and state your connection with the application and your names for the record?
For the applicant, David Gilmartin Jr., Greenberg Chart, 2317 Montauk Highway, Bridgehampton, and I am counsel for Aria T. And we have Ralph Michelle, who is the draft person
For,
the plans.
for the architectural plans.
Okay. Mr. Tagliavia is the lead board member on this. He's over there. Would you?
By way of background, we're before both the planning board for a site plan and the zoning board for some variances. We are presently in the secret process. It's on the planning board. Property is, as it was mentioned, at 292 West Montauk Highway. It is vacant. It's in a highway business zoning district, and it's a little over 3 acres in size. We went through the pre-submission process with the planning board, and they identified design on the front of the building facing Montauk Highway as one of the issues that they raised. And so to get ahead of that, we scheduled this work session with you to go through what we have proposed, and we're open to suggestions in the process, but we wanted to get before you sooner rather than later. So with that, I'll ask.
Yeah.
Why don't we start with the site plan?
Yeah. And can I just ask?
Sure.
This is not an actual final then? You
No.
just, this is like a preliminary?
It's a preliminary, like a
Right.
work session. We'll be back to you, or you'll see this
Well,
plan.
there
during
will be
site
no
plan.
vote today or
No,
anything
No,
then?
no.
Okay.
We're just
I
looking for some input.
Right, okay. Fine.
So,
Sorry, Mr. Tagliavia, I just wanted to clarify that.
thank you, Mr. Chairman. So we did receive these
late last week, and there was made mention that there be a planting plan presented for the final review and voting that
Yes.
shows the
Yep.
species of plants,
Yes.
particularly the street side. And is that bottom view and rendering
Yes,
the view from the
yes.
Montauk Highway?
Yeah, we'll have, once the planting is, we will have the planting accurately depicted on the final. We just wanted to get a street view for this meeting to show that there will be some planting, but what is agreed upon will be in the rendering.
Right, it's a substantial structure close to the street, so also if there's an indication of what you're going to be clearing in terms of existing vegetation, if there's any, species that may be salvageable and or that you are not going to affect, that should be noted as well.
Our discussions with the planning board so far is, and the owner of the property owns the property next door, which you'll know is a car wash.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking for a similar landscaped front.
Right.
That was the discussion, so that's what we
It's
usually do.
in between that.
This is on the east side of the car wash?
This is east side,
To the
yes.
east, yes.
Right.
It's a spot just between those.
Yeah, it's vacant.
Yeah,
right
okay.
in there.
That's what I wasn't sure which side of the car wash you were on, which you were talking about.
Directly east, and then I think 5 or 6 lots down is the Bordy Barn property.
Right.
So we're in between those two. I have some pictures of the street if you want to.
Right, there is some residential housing on the south
Across the
side of
street.
that street, but
Yeah.
most of this area is commercial.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's out of line with the aesthetics. There's existing buildings there that are very commercialized. I would just advise to have a detailed landscape plan for final approval.
Right. And what is going in there?
There's gonna be offices up front, and then there are 2 warehouse buildings. The office building is 10,000 square feet, 5,000 first, 5,000 second. There's a warehouse that's 12,000 square feet, and then a warehouse that's 7,000 square feet. What's interesting is the variance that we're looking for is more than 15,000 square feet on one lot. But we could subdivide this lot into 3 and create 3 15,000 square foot.
On an acre, you can
Yes.
get 15,000 square foot.
Yes.
Commercial,
Yeah.
Remember, it's more than 3 acres, so we have the ability to do that, but that's not the plan. It's basically a mirror of the property next door, which has been through this process.
And what's the height?
So the height of the building on the street side is 34 feet, just under 35 feet. That's the one that's facing the street. The warehouses are just a bit shy of that height, 32 feet.
Now, you're not gonna see if
You won't see the
You're not
warehouse.
gonna see the warehouse as well because
No.
there's 2 other lots back there that go deep with other that you don't even see.
Yeah. So like even like for see the street front
Yeah.
view, if you're looking to the right side of that street front,
You're not
you
gonna
can
see it.
barely see the side of that building.
Yeah, well, no, that's what,
Yeah. So
I was
I mean,
mainly,
you really have to be looking.
yeah, I was mainly interested in the front
in the front,
building,
it's
Yeah.
where it's going.
So that's so there's that lower photograph there. That's what you would be seeing from the street. It's the back side of the building because the parking is on the
Yeah.
inside.
Why are you doing 2 colors?
Well, we're actually doing a couple of different colors. So a lot of the medical office buildings, they want more modern. They want color.
So you consider that more modern to have more color in the building?
And so also looking at like the Stony Brook, Cancer Center that has multiple colors, a more modern looking building. It doesn't look very so monolithic. So what we're looking at,
Yeah.
if you guys take a look at these, just pass.
Thank you.
These are
right now. it's just
Eldorado
garbage
stone.
everywhere in there.
They're the color that you see on here. This is, it's got a lot of variation of color. So as the sun hits it, it would be,
Thank
appealing to the eye. And then we had a second variation of color on the behind it, with then a hardy siding and possibly doing a stucco, so you'd have like a lap siding on the sides, which is the page 3. And then we would have either the right in the middle tower would be hardy siding, and the sides would be either a hardy board and batten or a stucco on either side of the middle part. And then you'd have that same hardy siding on the left and right side where it says signage, and then the colors would then mimic in the back for the warehouses.
Okay, well, Mr. Tagliavia, any more comments?
Understand that all the signage will have to be submitted separately.
Yes.
And if you're gonna have a monument sign, that also should be submitted separately. Other than that, I have no additional comments.
Mr. Jankowski, comments?
So I'm familiar with the spot. Ask that middle, I guess, section, is that high because we're putting an elevator in? Is that where the elevator housing and stuff's going?
Yes.
Right, so then that's where we're mimicking on the sides. Okay.
Yeah, I wanted to, and kind of keep the middle a little higher
Yeah, no,
for the
it looks good. I
raceway.
kind of figured. I just wanted to make sure that that's why we did that.
Yeah.
The landscaping, then the next door property, that looks good always the way you have it. And I also particularly like it where the landscaping set back, so when you're actually exiting, you can see.
You can see.
All right, so that's what I would hope that you do again here, as long as they let you, because it's coming out of that driveway, especially the sun.
Yes.
Right, we know what that's like in the afternoon.
Yes.
We responded to quite a few accidents down that way. So I don't know, the colors, everything else, I think it looks good, and it's the in-between property between where the Little Red Stand used to be, where they have warehouses that don't look as good as that. So yeah, I don't have an issue.
There's just garbage in that lot now,
Yeah.
like on the side of it.
In this one,
this lot,
yeah,
it's gonna be a
trucks and things, yeah, that
significant
they're
betterment
keeping.
to the
But
area.
no, I think it looks good to me, and we pass it a lot.
Okay. Okay. Ms. Keys, comments?
I'm not sure about the 3 colors. I actually, the stone and all of this looks a little confusing. I think it would look much nicer if it was more complete together, frankly. How many spots do you have parking for? Just curiosity.
We've overparked it.
That's loading right here. So 110 spaces required, 123 spaces are provided, 8, including 8 accessible spaces.
All right, so I'm curious to see the landscape plan, but I personally feel like it would be nicer if it was toned down a little bit in the alterations of texture and color. So that's my.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Burke, comments?
Overall, no issues. I was looking at the window to wall ratio, but Ted's question about the middle tower kind of answered that for me. So I don't see any issues with it.
Okay. Mr. Wright, comments?
No, I think it's like I said, it's a betterment for the street that's there now. So
Okay.
I don't have any issues.
Okay, all right. My comments are, where you've got the elevator, is there a way you can break that up? Because it looks kind of massive as it is now. I mean, even if you try putting some horizontal lines in there.
Sure. So what we did was we centered the elevator,
Yeah.
and then the bathrooms are on, like,
The street side?
this is street side by you
Yes.
guys here. So the bathrooms are back here, so obviously water and everything's coming this way.
Yeah.
But the elevator is centrally located with a stair that wraps around it. So we can play with the wall here, indent it if we needed to, put it or pop it out a little bit more if we need to. There's certainly more pizzazz we can throw into it to get rid of that, because you could see the left and the right have a lot more detail to it.
Right.
So we can certainly do something else, put a false awning in the middle, with a false window or something
or
like that.
try using the same horizontal elements going
Sure, absolutely.
across there or whatever. And my comment would be, on the landscaping, I think this would really help the building if you would put some much higher trees.
We will.
And probably deciduous trees, coupled with the evergreens. Mix them up, because that will break up the building, and then you're gonna have interest in the wintertime too, with just the branches there. And it won't take away from you know, the design of the building.
Sure.
Okay, and that's our comments, and I can turn it over to, any comments from the public? No comments from the public on this, so.
That's great.
You've got our comments, and it'll be reflected in the minutes, but it'll be abbreviated.
That's fine.
problem.
Thank you for your time.
Right, thank
Yeah.
you.
Do you guys need copies of what it is, or?
No, because you're gonna bring them to us, and when you do come in for the final, we'll need some samples of the materials
Okay.
you're using and the specific colors.
Sure, you got it.
And that'll be true with the signs too, when you submit those.
Okay. Samples, let me just write that down before I clean up.
But thanks for bringing everything in here complete.
You got it.
Okay,
Thank you.
Right,
Easy, guys.
thank you.
See you later. Have a good day.
Thank you. Have a great day.
right. Okay, next on the agenda is a residential review, 33 Lempe Road and Shinnecock Hills. And is the applicant available? And you want to come in and state your name and your connection with the application?
I am Danny Canaris. I'm a project manager at Martin Architects.
Okay, fine. And for this, Mr. Rump is not here today, so Mr. Tagliavia will be the lead on this.
Good morning, if you could just present.
Sure. So this property next door is the same owner. They intend to house their parents when they come out in the summer.
That's what's there now.
Yeah, you can kind of see in the background those photos. The house we're almost done. We're waiting on the final inspection. I think this week actually, and the intention is to match the same type of materials, so they kind of blend together. If you, I guess you kind of scroll down to the last page, you'll see kind of how the materials worked next door.
And that's not a rendering, that's a picture of what you just completed?
Those are photos of what's completed, so it'll be a mix of some wood and black metal. It comes pre-finished to a gray, so it's going to stay, the gray is going to stay the gray. The actual wood-looking color is going to gray over time, and then the black metal will maintain its.
Is the survey on that?
Yeah, do you have a survey?
The survey, yeah. There we go.
Oh, there.
So it's an existing structure. We're gonna bump it out slightly. It's not getting too much bigger. There's the piece over the existing front door. We're just gonna kind of close that out. And the space in between the garage, we're just gonna give it a new entry space, just to give them a bit more square footage.
Ms. Doyle, can you do an aerial view? Like from street side?
Are you adding to this house that is already there?
It's a minor addition. It's I want to say it's like 75 square feet off the top of my head, but I'm not.
That's what's here.
That's there. And where's the house that they?
Just to the south.
That one right there?
Yes,
Okay.
So that's already been through ARB?
correct.
Yeah, I'm a little familiar with the original house.
Yeah, actually, I did the siding on the house when I was like 16 years old,
Yeah.
20 years ago or so.
Yeah, I know, it was a long time ago, because that's where I remember it from,
Yeah.
because that was when I was in charge of that area.
But I think, my comments are, I think it's a major improvement to the existing structure, and it matches what's next door. Doesn't match entirely, I think it's just playing off the aesthetic, and I think it goes well with the area.
Okay.
How close is it from the street? I couldn't see.
46, I can't see.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
What's that say?
45.
45.
45, so.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Jankowski, comments?
No, I don't have any issues. I think the way you mimicked it looks good. So, I'll go with the lead.
Ms. Keys, comments?
I agree, I think it'll look good, thank you.
Okay. Mr. Burke, comments?
Just to clarify, why is this in front of the whole board?
That's a good one.
Well, that was going to be my question too.
The first time I've ever had a residential get called in.
Really? I mean, what's the square footage of this?
You emailed me asking, it was you and him.
Mm-hmm.
You were concerned about it not matching neighboring properties. I have the email.
I think it might look like you're building that house instead of.
You mean, all right, so Tim, no, it's, Tim can request to go on the
Of
floor.
course.
And it could have been because he's not here too.
Right.
So then the rest of us do it. That's fine.
Right, that's
Yeah, I was
not,
just,
not to hold you up.
No, I was just curious.
Because I think he knew about 3 weeks ago that he wasn't gonna be in today,
Mm-hmm.
so,
But I agree with the rest of the board. I don't see any issues.
right.
Great.
Okay, Mr. Wright, comments?
No, I agree with the board.
Okay, and I agree with the lead from the area and everything, and that way, since you're before the full board, we're gonna have to vote on it, so do I hear well, any comments from the public? Kevin, any Zoom comments?
Nobody on Zoom.
Okay, thank you. Okay, do I hear a motion to approve?
I'll make a
Submitted?
motion to approve as submitted.
I'll
Okay.
second.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve as submitted. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. All right, it's approved.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah,
Thank
this
you.
way
Thanks
it
for
doesn't
coming in.
hold you up
Thanks, Danny.
until Tim gets back.
Appreciate it, thank you.
Right. Okay, next on the agenda is 74 Windmill Lane, 74 Windmill Lane, Bridgehampton. Let's see. Would you come up and state your name and your connection with the application?
Bill Kelly, and I'm the authorized agent for the owner.
Okay, thank you.
Also with Morton Buildings.
Right, and I'm the lead for this
Okay.
area, and I'm just gonna mention, the reason that you're up here is because all metal buildings, this is what the town board wanted,
Mhm.
has to go through the ARB.
Understood.
And this is a residential area. This is, the building is gonna, and this is my understanding, the building is gonna be used as a residence, not as commercial.
It's not as commercial, it's a private studio.
Well,
Well,
residential,
residential use,
Right.
storage studio.
private,
Yes,
and it's a Morton building.
correct.
Okay, would you go through with the
The,
presentation?
I don't know how familiar you are with Windmill Lane, but Windmill Lane was basically a 5-lot subdivision. And if you were to pull up the aerial map, when you go down that, you can see where it's tagged for the site project.
Yeah,
Okay.
the red dot.
Yes. The building to the east is one of our projects, which is all steel. The building farther east, it has the all black roof on it. That's one of our projects, which is all steel. The buildings on the south side of that access way, you can see the ones with the black roofs. Again, those are all steel sided, and those are all our projects. So we've done this 5-lot subdivision. We've done every building in that 5-lot subdivision. So as far as and this particular building at 74 Windmill Lane is in keeping with the existing house that's on Windmill Lane. So it's the same color combination, same siding. I brought samples of the siding. It's a muted silver is the color for siding and roof. And then the only thing that's different is the gutters, because we don't make that color in gutters. We do it in a half-round galvanized. So we're just pretty much a muted.
Okay, and this is going to complement the existing.
It's the exact same color combination of the existing. again, we do a lot of art studios, and I had provided pictures of different studios that we had done in the area.
Is this the,
Yeah.
what is this that we're looking at now?
That's the house next door.
That's the actual residence.
That's the one next door, that's not the actual residence.
This
Should
isn't,
be-
it's,
There should be a photograph of the actual
wait a
residence.
minute, I thought this was the residence.
No,
That's the residence.
no, that's the house next door,
Jesus.
to the east, I think.
Yeah.
I'm not the architect. That's the residence. And that would be, if you were standing at this building looking back at the residence, that's the view that you would have.
So it would be back from that
Yeah,
back
yeah,
door.
yeah.
How far back from that?
It's like 70 feet, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, there's the site plan.
All right, now
And
from the,
now it's a flag lot, and the front yard was determined, so the front yard is actually the east yard, not the.
so, all right, where are the neighbors on this now? And what are the neighbors?
The neighbors are all
Your projects, right?
all our projects.
All metal buildings?
All metal buildings, all
That's-
Morton buildings, all our projects,
Right,
and they're just in different colors. You know, a group of them is in
Right.
the one that you had the picture up is in charcoal. So that one's a charcoal. The one across the street from that one is black, all black.
Right.
The one next to that is all black, and then the one at the end. So you have 74, 76, 78, and that's all on the north side. And then you have 78A, and then you have the other one enters in off of Montauk Highway, and it's I can't quite remember the address. I want to say it's 1720
okay.
Montauk Highway.
And you're leaving most of the landscaping that is there?
Yes, yeah, site
And-
plan survey. I mean, as far as lot coverage percentages and stuff like that, we're okay on that. We are clearing out enough just to do the project, but here's,
Well, there's gonna be screening all around the boundary anyway,
yes.
correct?
Well,
That you're leaving,
yes, yeah, I mean, we have to take some down to construct,
but,
but then,
It looks like he's leaving the big evergreens that are there.
yeah,
You're coming in off the driveway, and it looks like you're
we're,
probably
we're,
adding
yeah,
a
we're,
driveway.
we're coming in, actually, we're coming in off of, we're not coming in off of that driveway.
Oh, you're not?
What- where are
No,
you?
we're coming in right here,
Right.
off of the side. Yeah,
Okay,
you can see the parking area. And then it's been heavily landscaped in the past, and it would be replaced and.
yeah, no, I'm familiar
We're
with.
just putting enough in there I mean, we're taking enough out to build it, and then we would let it grow back after that.
Right, okay, yeah, I'm a little familiar with it, and, because this was all farmland at one time, and the one to, I guess it's the south, or the,
The one to,
Uh,
well, my involvement in this project dates back to 2004.
yeah,
And that's when we built the first one. And the first one was the subject property and the one next to it. So it was about, well, actually, it was probably 2008 that we did those. And then the black house on the far east was that same time period.
Yeah.
So they were all three done during that same time period. And then the two that are on the south side, those were done in 2020, 2020.
okay, and what's in the back of this now?
The railroad tracks.
Yeah, the railroad
You got the
tracks.
railroad tracks, and then you have a project there that was done by Farrell long
Right.
ago, and I think it's theoretically agriculture, but
Right,
what?
no, that's what I was,
Yeah.
that's when I mentioned the agriculture, but yeah, because you're backed up to almost the easement of the railroad,
That's
correct?
correct.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay, fine.
Actually, I think Farrell might be south of that Farrell property might be south of the railroad.
Yeah,
The Zag Reserve here.
Yeah, that's ag reserve. And,
Yeah.
And then the railroad's to the north of that, I believe.
right, okay.
So, from an architectural standpoint, it is the same design, architecture, materials and everything that we're
It's gonna look exactly, the design is gonna look exactly like you've done.
yes, yeah.
I mean, with the windows, the doors.
Well, it's an art studio, so usually with these artists, the windows are set up higher, and they
Yeah.
usually like north light, so the windows are up high,
Right.
north light. What's in vogue right now has been the full glass overhead doors. So we're building it in such a way that it could double as a garage.
Yeah, do you have elevations of it?
I do. Nothing that's, what's that?
I'm curious as who the owner is.
Oh, it's just, hobbyist more than anything. Now, the one across the street is Stanley Whitney.
Well,
And I don't know if that,
well, no, that has no bearing on this.
it's just that he's a well-known.
Yeah, but
And then the black house at the end of the street was Joe Mantello's.
Yeah.
It's since been sold.
so,
And then the other one, it's all the monoslopes. Is,
and the
so this is the south side, this is the north side
side,
with the north
right,
light.
correct, with the light and
Yeah, and then this is the west end, which is where the slop sink and
Right.
and bathroom is.
and the doors are going to be
This
glass.
is a full glass,
Fine.
full glass door with aluminum.
Okay,
anodized
I have,
aluminum
because
frame.
of the surroundings, I have no problem with this, and I recommend approval. Mr. Jankowski?
No issues.
Okay.
It looks great.
Ms. Keys? None? Okay.
No
Mr.
issues.
Burke?
No issues.
Okay, Mr. Tagliavia?
I agree with the lead.
Okay, Mr. Wright?
I would follow your lead, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. All right, do I hear a motion to,
I'll make the motion to approve as submitted.
I'll second.
motion has been made. Oh, any comments from the public before we vote on it? None? Then, okay, the motion has been made and seconded to approve as submitted. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. It's approved.
Very good, thank you.
Right,
Have a good day.
Thanks, Bill.
right,
Thanks.
thank you. Next on the agenda is 120 Halsey Lane, 120 Halsey Lane, Bridgehampton. And is the applicant available?
Might be on Zoom, you can
Yeah. They are, okay, fine.
Morning. Hello?
Okay, would you please state your name and your connection with the project?
Hello, my name is Brian Glasser. I'm the architect for 120 Halsey Lane.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I'm the lead board member on this. So would you present the project and I'll give you my comments.
Very nice. Good morning. As I meant, so just wanted to get started on the property, give you a little background. So the current property is it's an actually occupied piece of land that's going to be getting current residence that's going to be getting demolished. And the property is located on the west side of Halsey Lane. It is 2.5 acres, a 2.5 acre lot. Can you see my rendering here?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can see that.
Okay, so this rendering, I think it gives, I just want to start off with the aerial. This over here is pretty much looking towards the northeast. So Halsey Lane is back here. The flag comes down on the north side and you enter the property going south. So this is the back. There's an existing tennis court, which we're going to remove it and put a new one in the same spot that it currently is located. So we're doing just to go over square footages, the first floor is roughly 5,207 square feet, or 57 square feet. The second floor is 4,464 square feet. So I think it put us over that threshold of 7,500. That's why I'm at the hearing today. We also have a accessory structure, which is a 600 square foot pool house. So that's pretty much kind of the general layout. We do have a 3-car garage in the front, and we also have a finished basement. Just to go through the materials, can you see this rendering?
Yes.
On the
Yes.
front. You there?
Yep, we got it.
All right, nice. Sorry, I just wanted to make sure. Okay, so just to go through the materials, starting off with the stone material, we're gonna go with a thin stone veneer, which is a Connecticut fieldstone blend, and our chimney caps are gonna be a sloped concrete cap. The roofing material that we selected was a tapered sawn red cedar. We're gonna go with a perfection red cedar on the siding. We have some stone accents on the lower level, which are gonna match the chimneys. The trim color, it appears a little gray here, but it's gonna be a white. So the trim is gonna be white, windows will be white, columns are gonna be white as well. Some of the other materials to kind of go through. So here's the pool house. And I didn't mention it, but this is a traditional shingle style home. So sweeping roof lines, any type of patios are going to be a bluestone material. Here's another elevation from the back. What else do we have here? That's the windows that we're going to be going with our Marvin product. We're not really sure if we're going to go with Ultimate, which is an aluminum clad, or if we're going to go with an Elevate. We're going through budgets right now. One would be either a fiberglass, but it would be white, or it would be the aluminum clad, which would be a white, finished white option as well. What else do we have here? Front door is going to be a stained mahogany door. Landscaping, I just kind of put some natural landscaping in here, hydrangeas, some indigenous trees. It hasn't really been thought out fully, but we're gonna do a pea gravel driveway with a steel curb. That's pretty much it.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Yep.
The first rendering you brought up, it showed a lot of screening on the property. Do you intend on keeping that?
Let me share my screen again here.
Yeah.
Share.
It's the first rendering.
Yeah, let me pull it up here.
Showed.
Share.
It showed the whole site. This is the
Yeah,
one.
so we have existing screening in the back, which is going to remain. And then where it's opened up, we would probably have some type of green giant, arborvitae, kind of finishing it off, hedging it off. I can also show you the existing, the current site if you want. I don't know if you guys care to see it.
Yeah. No, that's okay.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, the house is large for the area. You do have some larger houses there.
I was gonna say, that was something that this rendering, I mean, these houses are probably much larger than even this one is in scale. So we have this house just to the north,
Yeah.
with a large pool house, and the one to the east and to the.
Well, no, I understand that. What I'm talking about is just looking at the mass of this structure is more than normally is in the area, even though they might be more square footage. It's going to look a little more massive. But I think you've done a great job in designing this to fit in to the rest of the neighborhood. And in my opinion, it's going to give some interest to the neighborhood. And all I can say is I recommend approval on it. Comments, Mr. Jankowski?
I'm going to go with the lead on that. I have no issues.
Okay, Ms. Keys, comments?
I agree, except I feel that it's necessary before approval that we get a complete landscape plan. Not just we think we'll put this here. So I think that should be contingent on approval.
Okay. And that's your, Your only comment, okay, fine.
Uh-huh.
Mr. Burke?
No other comments, no.
Okay, Mr. Tagliavia?
No other comments, I agree with the lead.
Okay, Mr. Wright, comments?
I have no comments.
Okay. Anyone else would, on the board, would like to have a complete landscape plan before approval? Final approval?
I mean, if we do, but it's your area, so
Yeah.
I'm okay with it not coming to us, and I'm okay with him going, and then leaving that up to you.
Okay, fine.
I agree, it's a flag
You
lot,
agree,
it's not
okay.
very visible.
I agree with you on that.
That's, any comments?
No, I
from
think
you
that's
two?
it.
Okay,
Yeah.
fine. So can you provide us with a landscape plan then?
Well, one question that I have, because I work
Yes.
with in other villages and towns, is the landscape plan required by? Do you need a landscape architect to be
No.
involved with it? Landscape
No.
design.
No, we don't. We need a site plan that would put in the rendering that you have, and just, you can indicate it on there that screening will remain, these trees will
Okay.
remain,
And a planting
trees you're gonna
schedule.
put in.
Yeah, so the landscape contractor could provide a diagram showing the trees and specimens. That's not a problem.
Yeah,
Right,
heights,
and, yeah, the heights and the
Yep.
size.
planting schedule.
Yeah, planting, like a planting schedule. Yeah,
Not
you
a-
don't
yeah, we
need
can
a
have the
landscape-
landscape contractor put that together. That's not an
Yeah,
issue.
you don't need a landscape architect, the landscaper can provide that,
All right, great.
okay?
And the
No,
survey
thank you.
has some indication, like here it has
Yeah.
row of arborvitae's,
Yeah,
dense vegetation, maybe
well, because it's the massive
expand
house,
on that.
I think we need more than this, but you can use this to start with.
Yeah. Okay, that's not a problem.
Okay, all right, any comments from the public? If none, do I hear a motion on this?
So I'll make the motion to approve as submitted, with the caveat, a landscaping plan / schedule is also submitted, and the lead from the area will approve.
Do I hear a second?
Agreed, second.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Okay. That's it.
Great.
It's approved prior to the submission of a landscape plan.
Great, thank you.
Right,
Thanks, Brian.
thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Okay. Next on the agenda is 658 Flying Point Road, 658 Flying Point Road Watermill. Is the applicant available? If not, oh. What?
Did we have this one?
Yeah, and he wasn't available. They didn't
Okay.
show up.
Like, had it? Yeah.
That's it.
That makes more sense.
Oh, can you hear me?
What?
Can you hear me?
No.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah,
What-
it's
are you
Brian
also
Glassick
the
at Architect.
658 Flying Point?
Yes, yes.
Oh.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't come to the. I just let me know when you're ready, and I'll get started.
Yeah, no, I'm the lead for this project also, so.
Okay, Brian Glasser, architect representing 658 Flying Point Road. It's a new residence. Just wanted to clarify from the last hearing, we had some comments from the building department before, I guess it got pushed to you guys. We're under the 7,500 square feet above ground, but they had some comments on pergola structures, which we removed. So that's why we weren't at the last hearing. This current presentation shows, I can share my screen here. I don't know if you have the file, but this current presentation shows the current design, which conforms to the building department's request.
Okay, fine. I remember this quite well. It's not this elevation that was the question. That's why I brought it to the full board. It's
Mhm.
the opposite elevation.
This one?
Right, that's all glass.
Yep.
Okay, the problem, and we've run over this in other areas, where you're facing the water and there are residences on the other side of the water, this almost appears like a big lighthouse at night.
Right.
And I understand why you would want to do this and why you would want the views, but it's a problem with light trespass. for the neighbors on the other side of the water.
Yeah, so to address, in general, to address those concerns, do you want me to kind of go through the whole, let me just go through my whole speech, I guess, of what I was thinking? And
Well, I was just gonna ask you, what would you do to mitigate that, effect that I just spoke about?
so, two things that we did do originally that were, it was a concern of mine as well, which is having a wall of glass, and just like you mentioned, my client wanted glass for the view, right? So the one thing that we did, which usually does help with light pollution, is there are large overhangs on each of these areas which stick out 4 to 5 feet. So yes, the direct view going straight, you would see it. There is plantings. I don't know if you can, this obviously is just showing the house, but if I were to show you the view from the neighboring property, there are plantings all along I don't know if you saw the site plan, along the perimeter of the property, which we would be leaving because, and I just wanted to state that we got conservation approval and Board of Health approval. There's certain areas beyond, which this is even showing a little bit more, but the natural vegetation would not be removed. And we cannot touch it. It has to stay there because it's within the conservation's, requirements. Does it go up to the second floor? No.
No,
But
that's my question.
yeah, and that's why we have these fins here, which does, from perspectives, maybe straight on, yes, you would see straight on at a perfect angle. Looking at this, you would see directly in, but these fins that come off of these walls, roughly 4 or 5 feet, does block. I mean, that does block some of the view. It's possible for us to add tinting to the windows, if that helps.
Okay, what about putting like 2 deciduous trees there that go up to the second floor? In other words, on the property, closer to the water, but high enough, just to break up that, all glass view.
Do you have the site plan or no? Do you guys have it in front of you, or do you want me to pull it up?
Well, we've got it,
It's
but
up.
yeah.
This site was extremely complicated.
Yeah.
If you can see the way everything kind of lays out with setbacks. I don't know if we're allowed to plant within the wetland area, which I'd have to. I wouldn't want to say. I don't want to just yes you and say, yeah, we'll put 2 trees, because I'm sure my client wants to keep going with this. It's been a long process for him.
Okay, excuse me, would you go over that again?
Let me share my screen just to show you the Google image for a second.
Yeah.
Just let me know when you can see it.
Yeah,
Yeah, we can.
yeah.
So the current house is pretty much right in the footprint of where we are. We're actually a little bit closer to the street. There are a few trees. Oh geez. There are a few trees here. Obviously our house is a little bit higher. It's somewhere up in this area. There are some trees here. All these trees and all this vegetation cannot be removed.
No, I understand that. I'm just asking to add a couple in there just to break up the glass expanse.
This is the only neighbor that you're concerned about here, I guess, right? I mean, this is the only neighbor. I don't know if that helps. But this is the only neighbor that's really being affected.
South of it.
I'm sorry, what?
You've got that neighbor, and then the one south on the other side of the water.
Wait, way over here?
Yeah, keep going south. Yeah, you've got those, and then you've got the ones on that little peninsula.
Oh, this.
I'm just trying to see if there's a way that you can mitigate this lighthouse effect, at night.
I don't know if I can. It's kind of crossing paths with different jurisdictions. I don't know if I can just put a tree in. That's my only concern. I don't know if they allow. I don't know if I can go beyond a certain point with the setbacks. That's the only thing.
What about the window tinting?
I'm sorry, what was that?
What about window tinting?
Yeah, that's what I was mentioning, a window tint. I know I can do that.
Okay, and how much of a tint?
I would say we could go with I know there's it's called like a frog glass pattern, which supposedly is good for like nature, and it's supposed to reflect the light in instead of letting it penetrate out through the. It's not just a simple tint film.
Yeah, you're talking about like a gold tint?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've used that several times too.
Mm-hmm. I just in Sagaponic, Sagaponic, they're sensitive about the light
Right.
pollution as well, so I know that's something that they like to use. And the post, I mean, I could say, we could add there's also situations where we go from like there's like argon gas inside. When you go from like an E1, E2, and E3, that actually adds layers of tinting to the windows, and it's good for energy efficiency.
Right.
So if we went with like an E3, which is the highest you can go, that does add tint level to the glazing. That's another option.
Okay.
I don't know if with this project I'd want to just. I mean, we could put the tint over it, but that's kind of like the cheaper option to kind of check off a box.
I'm talking about the one that's manufactured on the inside.
Yeah.
It's that gold film, but it doesn't come out as gold. It's quite expensive though. That's the other issue.
Yeah. Like I said with the tree, if you look at the site plan, my concern is just that the trees, I don't want to give you an answer. If we do a landscape plan, but I don't know if they're going to give us pushback and say we're not allowed to plant within the natural buffer of the wetlands, which is my concern.
Okay, well, let me go through the rest of the board, and we'll see what the rest of the board feels on this.
I will say just something for my client is we're kind of right on Flying Point Road, just to the north side of Flying Point Road. I did put a rain screen system in front of the actual windows on the upper level so that anyone looking I know it's not over the open water, but anyone looking from the street where it is about a 50% reduction in any glazing area, which you can, briefly see in these areas here. So,
but that's on the street.
and then this area on the lower, wait, are you even looking at, am I sharing the right?
No, we're still on the Google.
Sorry, I'm sorry. So the rain screen system, this pretty much wraps on all three sides. And there is glass here, but it's a 50% reduction because of the wood rain screen.
Right.
The area on the lower half, you wouldn't see it because there's a lot of natural vegetation along.
Well, that's not the side that I had a difficulty with.
Oh yeah, no, I just wanted to bring it to your attention that we were conscious of it on three sides, unfortunately just on the one side of it.
Well, yeah. Look, the reason that this becomes a critical issue is because this has happened in other areas, and neighbors have a way of sometimes being litigious in this. So, okay, I'm going to poll the rest of the board for their comments. Mr. Jankowski, comments?
Yeah, my comment is that the tinting, not like you're saying the film over it, like the windows that actually have it where it's incorporated into it. That would be my direction. I think the tree one could be too close to the wetlands. You're not doing that again. So if any of the type of the window manufacturing with the tinting, then that would be my choice.
Okay. Ms. Keys, comments?
I agree with Mr. Jankowski that the way out of this would be some form of tinting, and I think I'm not knowledgeable about the different varieties that are available, but I would bet there's several ways to get through this easily,
yep.
Or I think so. So that would be how I would handle it.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Mr. Burke?
I agree with Ted Dooley.
Okay. Mr. Tagliavia?
So certainly the tinting is one resolution to this, but in doing some of these projects myself, I understand that the tinting can change the characteristics of the glass. And if you're already reducing the percentage of emissions on the front, it will affect the light quality of the sun exposure into the house. What we have also done is, if you specify the quality or the specifications of the bulbs inside the house, and we know what the emissions are to the exterior, that might also help your case in understanding that we're not going to have bright white light, and you may be specifying fixtures that have a warmer, lower wattage. So I think that could be another alternative.
Right.
Okay.
And possibly in those outside rooms facing the water, have all ceiling fixtures.
Right.
On the second floor, you know, downlight.
All recessed, so
All
it's not a full
recessed lighting.
Yeah, like
I mean,
a dark
that's
sky
possibility.
compliant.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Wright.
No, I'm gonna go with the board on all comments.
Okay. All right. Okay, so we're in a little bit of a diverse situation here. What I'm going to suggest is that you confer with your client, decide which way you guys want to go as a final on this.
I mean, can we go with the on the specifications for the construction documents? Can we modify the windows? And I mean, I don't know if we have to go through a whole approval process again for the architecture, because it's pretty much there. And just as long as someone says, all right, the architect is specifying this tinting and this wattage for the lights, it's approved.
I would either that, or if you're allowed to put in a couple of trees that are going up to that area. I mean,
I don't think the trees. I don't think the trees are going to be an option, just because, like I said about the wetlands and planting and touching. I don't think we're allowed to touch that zone. I can control like the architecture, but the going outside of the I think it's outside of the footprint we're allowed to actually touch and disturb.
okay. All right. Well. Okay. Does any board member wish to make a motion on this?
Yeah, so I'll make the motion. Approve is submitted, with the exception of you will let the lead of the area know the window manufacturing / tinting to mitigate the light that comes out of it at nighttime. You can also add in the light fixture, either a schedule, wattage, bulbs that we're going to use, so that that decision can also be made easier.
Or trees.
Okay.
Yeah. Do I hear a second on that?
Second.
Okay, the motion has been made. Any comments from the public? None? Then. Okay, motion has been made and seconded, and it is to let the lead, you are to submit to the lead the specifications for the windows, the film or tinting on the windows on the water side only, and also on the rooms that are facing the water, what type of lighting, and this is pertaining to the second floor mainly, like the recessed lightings and the wattage, etc. Anyone agree?
Yeah, that's it. That's what we said.
That's it. Okay, fine. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Okay, as soon as you can submit that then.
Okay. Yeah, we'll get on it. Thank you.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Brian.
Thanks,
All right,
Brian.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any further comments? That concludes our agenda. I have one comment to make. I'm going to be out for the next, I think, 2 meetings, maybe, but I'll be able to zoom in from it.
I will not be there for the next meeting.
Oh, you've got to be.
Yeah.
Because I think I've got to zoom in then. Because
You're gonna
I
have
think,
to, yeah.
I think Tim is going to be out.
Yep, I do too. I won't be able to zoom in.
Yeah, because I'm gonna be in Jacksonville.
Okay.
At Mayo.
You'll at least be in the
You
States.
can't vote
Yeah.
on Zoom though, right? Is that?
You can,
No,
you can do everything that you could do here. The only thing is you have to have a quorum first physically present
One,
in order to have the meeting at all. But once
two,
you have the
three,
quorum
four.
present, if you're on Zoom, you can do everything you can do.
Right, you can have 4 people here.
Yep.
So, okay, and that's it. Okay, do I hear a motion to adjourn then?
So moved.
Do I, second, motion's been made and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, comment to everyone, make sure you do the, review the applications, from the, that Lisa sends you.